Okay, everyone, welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into a pretty significant piece of legislation. It's called the Small Business Advocacy Improvements Act of 2025. We're looking specifically at House Bill H.R. 832. Our mission really is to unpack what this bill actually changes about the Office of Advocacy, the one that's part of the Small Business Administration, the SBA. And look, this isn't just some bureaucratic shuffle. It's about how Washington is trying to support small businesses like yours, especially now things are so global.
That's right. And this isn't just talk. This bill, H.R. 832, it's already passed the House. It was referred to the Senate just recently, February 25th, 2025. So it shows, a real push to sharpen up how this key office advocates for small businesses.
Okay, let's get into the specifics then. The bill amends existing law, right? Particularly around the Office of Advocacy's main jobs, its primary functions. What are some of maybe the smaller tweaks we see first?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a couple of changes that might seem minor, but they're important for precision. For instance, just the simple typo fix, changing the word complete to compete in one part. Seems small, right? And another one corrects service disabled, that's SERVICED, to service disabled, which, obviously matter for how the office talks about service disabled veterans. It's about getting the language right.
Right, clarity is key there. But, okay, then we get to something that sounds like a major expansion of those functions, adding the international economy to its scope. What does that mean?
Yeah, this is a big shift. It's not just tweaking. It's fundamentally broadening their view. Wow. So imagine you run a small tech company, right? Before, when the office looked at a new domestic regulation, maybe on software standards, they'd mainly think, how does this affect this company operating here in the U.S.? Now and the international economy added, they have to explicitly consider, okay, how does this regulation impact this company's ability to sell its software overseas? Or how does it affect their competitiveness against, say, European or Asian firms?
Oh, so it forces a global perspective right from the start.
Exactly. It moves beyond just Main Street thinking for every rule they review. It's a huge change in perspective.
And it doesn't stop there, does it? The duties section of the bill adds something completely new. It says the office now has to represent the views and interests of small businesses before foreign governments and international entities. Wow.
Yes. And this is crucial. It's not passive. It's not just watching international developments. The text says it's for the purpose of contributing to regulatory and trade initiatives which may affect small businesses.
So they're meant to be actively engaging.
Actively engaging. Think about it. For your business, if you're maybe exporting goods, this could mean the office is arguing on your behalf in, say, discussions about lowering tariffs in another country. Or maybe influencing international standards on product safety that could open up markets for you. Or even pushing back against unfair trade practices abroad.
So it's giving small businesses a seat at the international table through the SBA's Office of Advocacy.
Precisely. A voice where they likely didn't have a dedicated one before on that kind of stage.
Okay, so let's zoom out. What's the big picture takeaway here for you listening? We've seen these careful language tweaks, and then these two really quite significant shifts towards a global focus.
Well, I think the core message is pretty clear. Policymakers are recognizing that small business isn't just a domestic concept anymore. So many small businesses are already operating globally, or they're affected by global supply chains, global competition. This bill basically empowers the Office of Advocacy to catch up with that reality, to not just consider international impacts, but to actively advocate for U.S. small businesses out there in the world.
Right. So if you're thinking about regulatory hurdles for importing materials, or you're looking at exporting your products, or maybe just trying to understand how a new international trade agreement might affect your specific industry, this office, the Office of Advocacy, is now officially mandated to be in those rooms, thinking about your interests. That feels like a pretty big upgrade.
It really is. And what's fascinating, I think, is seeing how law like this tries to adapt. It's acknowledging that commerce has fundamentally changed. Small business isn't just local anymore.
Yeah, it definitely makes you think. As the world keeps getting more interconnected, how else might government agencies need to evolve, to really support entrepreneurs and small businesses navigating this really complex global environment? Something to consider.